Chinese-founded fast fashion retailer Shein has taken America by storm.
I have a big box full of Shein accessories.
I have a giant Shein haul. Y'all see this box? It's literally so heavy.
Oh, hurry. Okay, my gosh.
And soon it could take Wall Street by storm too, with an IPO.
Shein has filed confidentially to go public in the United States.
Its presence here in the U.S. has exploded over the last year, and it's partnered with some of the hottest American retailers.
Shein teaming up with Forever 21.
And tried to put labor worries to rest by inviting American influencers to take a look at Chinese factories themselves.
Absolutely amazing.
All of that has fueled explosive growth.
The on-demand fashion retailer, last valued at $66 billion.
It's really taken the U.S. by storm. It's a threat to other retailers.
This week on Tech Check, we dig into Shein's secret sauce as it eyes Wall Street next. Shein is a polarizing brand, loved for its discounts by some.
I've got so many cute pieces for a great price.
But it also faces a number of issues that it will have to confront as it embarks on an IPO. One of those is quality.
Fast fashion. I thought that was landfill fashion.
It's also under investigation by Congress over its ties to Beijing.
Don't call them a Chinese company. They've been hard at work in Washington trying to convince everyone.
And it's faced scrutiny over its supply chain.
Accusations that it used forced labor in its supply chain, that it violated labor laws and stole designs from independent artists. Vice Chair Marcela Claret told CNBC that Shein is cooperating with lawmakers and denied that there is forced labor in factories that he has visited.
One way it's trying to spin that, promoting a manufacturing process that focuses on small batch orders.
We focus on the demand, reading customer demand.
Shein says its model allows it to order batches of just 100 to 200 pieces at a time so that it can easily follow trends.
They don't have an inventory. That's the thing that it's made to order fashion.
In this way, Shein can even tout its sustainability, saying it reduces production waste at the source by only making what customers want. No inventory, no waste. It also helps to explain why its clothes are so cheap.
As we eliminate or minimize the inventory, that we actually can pass this cost savings to the consumers.
To make that work, Shein uses thousands of different manufacturers, making it difficult to track their labor practices.
It is almost impossible to be able to police all of those factories.
Shein has more than 5,000 third-party suppliers, according to its website.
You can demand that these factories comply, and they will sign a pledge and do whatever it is that you need, but you can't enforce it.
Interesting.
And so the more factories that you have and the more you're not familiar with your supply chain, the bigger the risk is.
And investigations have uncovered illegal cotton used in Shein clothing shipped to the U.S.
They actually have acknowledged that cotton from the Xinjiang region, where the Uyghur population is primarily exploited, has been found in their cotton.
Federal officials banned the import of cotton and other products from the Xinjiang region after evidence that Uyghur laborers were forced to pick cotton by hand. One reason illegal imports may have skirted U.S. customs: a key trade loophole that Chinese e-commerce apps are exploiting to flood the U.S. with cheap Chinese products.
It thrives on this sort of loophole in tariff land, where they can just ship directly to the consumer because it's worth so little. There are no taxes on it.
The rule says that packages valued at $800 or less are exempt from import duties and oversight from U.S. Customs.
Shein ships its products directly to consumers from its Chinese suppliers. So if those packages are valued under $800, they're not going to be subject to the same U.S. customs screenings that other retailers are. So that's how they're concerned that, potentially these clothes were made with Uyghur forced labor and they're not being found out because of that.
It's a tactic that other Chinese online retailers, including Temu and potentially TikTok's new e-commerce business, are also taking advantage of. A congressional report found that Shein and Temu likely account for more than 30% of all products coming into the U.S. that fall under the loophole. Shein told CNBC it's compliant with U.S. tax and custom laws. Now, Shein is still a private company, last valued at $66 billion, making it one of the most valuable startups in the world. And until it does go public, investors, they can only speculate about its financial position. But another Chinese e-commerce app taking the American consumer by storm, that could give them some clues. That's Temu, owned by Chinese tech giant Pinduoduo, also known as PDD, which does trade on the NASDAQ. While Shein has focused on apparel, Temu is more like a Chinese dollar store, selling everything from electronics and appliances to home decor and clothing. And it is crushing Shein on sales and monthly customers. According to Bloomberg's second measure, Temu surpassed on both metrics this year and then has continued to pull ahead. Both platforms offer steep discounts on already cheap stuff, essentially subsidizing to gain scale, capture the American consumer, which is a risky strategy. But Temu tells us that there is, in fact, a path to profitability. Sales for Temu's parent company, Pinduoduo, nearly doubled in its latest quarter. Research from Bernstein notes that PDD went from negative 100% to positive 60% margin in China, and figures that Temu has already hit break-even in the US on a unit economic basis. How? Well, 1, slightly higher markups, and 2, less discounts as American shoppers become entrenched. It could be a good sign for Shein if it's using a similar playbook.
For the first 3 quarters of 2023, they delivered record revenue and a net profit on a year-to-date basis.
An IPO, if successful, would add to Shein's pile and give it ammo to both compete with Temu and capture more customers.